Hey everyone, and welcome to the Espalier Tree Lightning Talk. In this video, we're going to cover what is an espalier tree, what types of plants are they, why you should grow one, and how you can grow one. So let's get started. What is an espalier tree? Well, besides looking great, espalier trees are a great way to bring fruit down to eye level and within arm's reach. They are trees, typically fruit trees, but others like crabapple are common as well, and they are grown along a set of wires or a trellis. This is typically grown up against a wall, but can be a freestanding tree as well. What types of plants are they? They typically range depending on what USDA plant hardiness zone you're in, but espaliers are typically apple trees, pear, or fig trees. There's a fantastic example of a crabapple espalier tree at the Minnesota Landscape Arboretum in Chaska in the home demonstration garden. This will be in bloom soon, so try and get out there. Espaliers are a great alternative to vines or shrubs when placing up against a wall or fence. You could even use them to make a living fence. They make fruit much easier to grab and allow for greater visibility. As you can see, there are a ton of ways in which you can train your tree, so you can complement it with whatever backyard aesthetic you're going for. So how do you grow one? It's not complicated, but it does take a long time. Let's begin by finding a suitable area and preparing it for growing an espalier tree. First, we'll find an area with lots of sunlight. Most fruit trees love the sun, so unless you're growing a shade-tolerant plant, you want an area that will get sun for years to come. Also, be sure to check the soil. I always encourage folks to go and get a soil test. Either way, you want to make sure that your selected area has the right amount of drainage, the right pH for your plant, and a good mix of organic material, and is large enough for the plant to grow. Since fruit trees aren't self-pollinating, you may need to plant 2 or more fruit trees. They do not need to be both in the espalier shape, but they do need to be relatively close to each other. After you found a good area, it's time to prep it. There are a number of ways you can set up your training wires or trellis. Each has their own particular method, but the practice of training the branches remains the same. For this video, I'll be looking at a horizontal cordon espalier tree against a fence. Garden Time TV on YouTube recommends putting a 6-inch eye bolt into your fence. It is important to have some length to it because you want to give your tree some room for airflow and growing space. You do not want it pressed against your fence. The space between these depends on how far out you'd like your espalier tree to grow. I recommend they're at least 8 feet apart in width. Next, we will tie a wire to both the eye bolts, then connect the two using a turnbuckle. This is important because it will allow you to change the tension in the wire depending on the time of year and how taut the wire is. I recommend placing the turnbuckle near one of the ends and not the middle. This way you will have easy access to it as the plant grows larger. Now it's time to plant your tree. Carefully follow the proper instructions for how to plant your tree in the soil. Remember to leave half a foot to a foot between the tree and the fence. It's important to buy a younger tree, one that is 1 or 2 years old. These will be easier to train to the wire and are necessary for creating an espalier. After the tree is in, it's time to train and trim. You'll want to grab a flexible material to tie the tree to the wire. If the material you're using does not have any stretch or give to it, you could end up chortling the plant and eventually killing it. So take the branches closest to the wire and gently tie them to it using that flexible material. Repeat this step for both sides of wire and for as many wires as you're using. Now that those are tied down, we can trim the excess branches. We want to encourage only the branches attached to the wire to grow, so clip any excess branches. Finally, clip the very top of the tree, right near where the topmost wire is. This cut may seem pretty drastic, but it's important to maintain that espalier look. Now all that's left is to move the flexible material down as the branch grows, probably once every few months or so. Also remember to check the wire tightness and use that turnbuckle when necessary. Thanks everybody for watching. Remember, there's a ton of other videos online to help you with this process, and even more articles online. Thanks again, and good luck gardening.